Hello, this is Duke from Duke It Out, and welcome to the second episode of Weekly 5. And for this episode, we've got a lot more heated news topics than the previous episode, including wrestlers not being happy across many wrestling promotions, so let's get started. Number 5, Part-Time Roman. Roman Reigns has been world champion for 20 months straight, and even if he doesn't wrestle every Raw or SmackDown, he's made a TV appearance almost every single week during this reign. No pun intended. But that constant appearance from the Tribal Chief shall be closing off pretty soon. This past week, Roman signed a new contract with WWE, with one of the main priorities to the deal being Roman's schedule. Fans were wondering what was going on when Roman said at a house show, "I'm starting a new phase in my career, and I honestly don't know if I'll be back here again. If that's the case, I just want to thank you all for your support." A shocking statement in of itself, along with Roman breaking his heel character. It left the question that if Roman was done doing house shows, done with WWE, potentially going to AEW, which would have been hilarious, but it seems like Roman is going to be on the part-time schedule on a more permanent basis. And the word is Hollywood's been knocking on Roman's door, which WWE were apparently expecting after his appearance in Hobbs & Shaw. It'll be a shame to not have Roman around for even every pay-per-view anymore, but let's see if it can give WWE more development on other talent. Number 4, Roderick Strong requests his release. Roderick Strong has been one of the best technical wrestlers in the business for more than a decade, really kicking off his career in Ring of Honor, signing with NXT in 2016, and has been one of their top babyfaces or heels over the last 5 years. After the split of the Undisputed Era and now every single member of his other stable, Diamond Mine, getting released, it left little to do for Strong for about 6 months now. After the release of Malcolm Bivens, it had been reported by Fightful that Roderick Strong had requested to be released as well. And this was apparently not the first time he's asked this. It clearly hasn't been granted since Roddy was on NXT 2.0 this week, introducing new member to Diamond Mine, Damon Kemp. But WWE could want to keep him around to avoid a full Undisputed Era reunion, or another case of them not thinking a talent is good enough, but too good to go elsewhere. Number 3, Claudio's Indie Money. One of the most shocking WWE releases from 2022 has been Cesaro, a man who many claim to have been the best wrestler on the WWE roster to never be world champion, and I could agree to that. He left behind some incredible tag matches with Sheamus and some underrated singles matches with the likes of John Cena and Roman Reigns. Now with Claudio back on the indie market, he's clearly going to be a huge request. Claudio and his manager seem to know that, and the asking price for an appearance is a lot higher than many indie promotions could be expecting. While not an exact amount is out, we know it's worth more than a few bucks. While some are going to make sure they can secure Cesaro/Claudio for an event, it might be an asking price that only the son of a Jaguar owner could achieve. Tony Khan. His dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Moving on. Number 2, MJF's not happy with his contract. MJF has been one of AEW's best wrestlers and characters since the company's first day. Either from cutting some of the best heel promos of the decade, delivering fantastic matches with Jungle Boy, Moxley, and Darby, or having arguably AEW's greatest feud alongside CM Punk. With these high of accolades, solidifies MJF as one of wrestling's most providable younger talents. Clearly, Max knows this and has taken it upon himself to reveal in interviews how he is not the happiest with the terms of his contract, mainly discussing pay. It seemed that MJF's amount is lesser than legendary talents such as Christian Cage, and that can be seen as irritating when MJF makes a lot more appearances on television than Christian does. Not saying Christian isn't worth that money, because he definitely is, but with the Cody switch happening this year, we could be seeing MJF switching over to WWE in 2024, if they offer him a much smoother paycheck. It's much more difficult to determine the accuracy of this, especially since MJF's in character 99% of his days, but this is going to be a nail-biting 2 years that Maxwell Jacob Friedman will take us on. And number 1, Kota Ibushi threatens to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling. I haven't talked about New Japan much on this channel, but my favorite wrestler in that promotion for years has been Kota Ibushi. His selling, high-flying technique, and insane brutality just collides to one of the coolest and most enthralling characters in the history of the business. He's also been one of their highest booked talents over the years as well, winning the G1 Climax in both 2019 and 2020, later combining both the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship to become the first ever IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He hasn't been seen in the ring since last year's G1, suffering from an injury against Okada in the finals, but it seems that heads of New Japan have been trying to force Ibushi back in the ring before he's 100%, and beyond that. This past week, Kota Ibushi was having a field day on his Twitter account. While the tweets are in Japanese, the translation seemed to explain Ibushi threatening to expose heads of New Japan for either cheating on their wives or use of power and sexual harassment. There was even a leaked conversation with Ibushi and Kikuchi, an apparent head of the company who has had previous heat with Ibushi in the past. The conversation shows Kikuchi threatening to terminate Ibushi's contract. Maybe if he won't return by Sakura Genesis? And Ibushi didn't back down and explains that they might as well just fire him. This is the kind of news we rarely ever get out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it's one of the most mind-blowing news stories I've heard in recent memory. I'm really glad to see Kota stand up for himself and make sure he's not used around while he's clearly hurt. From Sakura Genesis to even Forbidden Door, Ibushi could be the main focus of the business worldwide. So that was the second episode of Weekly 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and duke out your opinions below in the comments.